Welcome to Franchising Stronger Together. I'm your host, Red Boswell, president of the International Franchise Professionals Group, IFPG. We're here today franchise leaders are responding, and I'm interviewing them about that response. We're joined by Laura Spaulding. Laura is the founder. I've interviewed quite a few co-founders lately. Laura is the founder and CEO of Spaulding Decon. Laura, welcome to the call today.
Hey, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Hey, you're in Tampa, Florida. How y'all faring through this?
We're doing pretty well. Most of our businesses in Florida are going to open up on May 4th here in a couple days, with the exception of like gyms and hairdressers and stuff like that.
Excellent.
That's the reason I have a hat on.
I can relate. I took the old razor that I've been using to keep my beard kind of intact, and I just went full tilt across the head.
Yeah, must be nice.
I didn't have a whole lot to cut, but that's obvious.
Yeah.
Hey, your family's safe, everybody's healthy and good, your team. Okay, awesome. What about this crazy time we've been going through, and we are ready to get out of it and shoot for the stars? How has your organization, Spaulding Decon, been impacted? And you know what, before you tell us how you've been impacted, tell us who you are. A lot of folks aren't familiar with Spaulding Decon.
Yeah, so Spaulding Decon, I started the company back in 2005, and we started, our first franchisee was in 2016. So we were, well into the business, and, we've been doing biohazard cleanup and disinfection and decontamination for many, many years. So we were very well positioned to handle this pandemic when it came about. So we were, the website was already catering towards this type of viral disinfection. We didn't have to make any changes on PPE or chemicals because we were already using what the CDC was recommending.
Impressive. And so what's the size of the organization? What's your, how far do you reach?
We have 24 locations right now, and they're pretty spread out, but for the most part, they're all on the East Coast with the exception of a couple in California.
Excellent. Okay, so Spaulding Decon really prime for a pandemic.
Yeah.
What's the franchisee's business looking like? It sounds like we're going to get a pretty positive answer here.
Yeah, it was, we're super excited for them because, we had several that were just in their first year when this hit a few months ago, and they have just seen a massive spike in business. They were probably, going from, probably between $50,000-$60,000 a month, these new people. And now they're, we have one that's over $200,000 in 1 week. So it's been an amazing jump for them. We've been able to help them scale with employees, and there's plenty of people looking for jobs right now. We also had plenty of chemicals, so we haven't run out, thank God, of any of our PPE.
I'm jealous. I haven't had many franchisors that could say what you just shared. So this is an odd question, but how you shared a little bit of it. How have you, the franchisor, responded? Well, you're helping them to scale, you're helping them to hire quicker, you've got the chemicals they need. Anything else you've done differently because of this crisis?
Yeah, we've been, when I saw this in China, I kind of anticipated on coming to the US. So we stocked up on our chemicals and PPE in advance. So we were really ready when it hit here. And we, like I said, we haven't run out of anything yet. Thank God. We've had plenty for all the additional staff as well. The one thing that we were able to really do is mobilize in areas where we don't have franchise locations. So we were obtaining pretty large contracts with businesses that have locations all over the country. So we're flying corporate staff or franchisees that are closer to other states to handle the disinfection of these locations. So we haven't said no to any jobs, and we haven't turned down anything, and haven't been unable to do something because of the workflow. We've been able to really kind of pull together and handle these jobs together, which has been fantastic because I really think as a system it's really brought us together.
You know, the name of this series is Franchising Stronger Together, and you've got a perfect example of that. No mom and pop could have handled what you are
Yeah.
accepting. You're not turning away business, and this is a nationwide opportunity. And yet you don't have or franchisees nationwide yet. Yet between the franchisees and the corporate team, you're able to just scatter and cover the opportunity. Wow. I'm surprised you're able to get on this call with me, frankly. It sounds like a busy time.
Yeah, it really was for the, it's starting to really tamper down at this point. We went from doing 3 or 4 of these a day to we're probably doing maybe 2 to 3 a week. So it's really kind of tampered down. And I think people are either waiting to do it preventatively when they're getting the go ahead from their states on when they're going to be able to open, or they're on the other side of the spectrum, which is waiting to see if there was an exposure with one of their employees or staff members to get us in there at that point. And then other people are probably thinking, we've been closed for, a month and a half, 2 months, and whatever's in there is probably dead anyway. So, it's kind of 3 different mindsets there.
Got it. Well, I doubt if this need and concern is going away anytime soon. This is the new, a lot of things that people call the new norm, not really going to be the norm going forward. We're going to get back to a relative normal life, but some things are here to stay. And this phobia is a bit strong, but this concern with viruses and the extra need to clean and disinfect and deodorize the air and everything else is here to stay, I think. And that's a lot of what y'all do. Have you seen, now, correct me if I'm wrong, part of your business, probably a good part of it, at least in the past, was more the crime scene cleanups. Has that changed at all? Or is it just taking a back seat to the prevalent issue?
No, not really. So we're still getting the same amount of volume of the biohazard cleanup stuff in addition to all the coronavirus stuff. So that's why, our sales numbers have just skyrocketed, because everything else has remained the same. And then adding that component in has just really, it's stressed a lot of our locations, but man, they have really been able to pivot and get on board with the volume, and none of them have turned down anything. They hired extra people, so that they've really done great things. And we even had one location that was able to do a school pro bono because it was one of those private type schools that couldn't afford the cleanup. So I'm super proud of them.
Absolutely. I hadn't thought about that. The ability to give back. You've been so
Yeah,
blessed.
yeah.
Outstanding. That's a story of triumph from a franchisee level. Um, any other, I mean, boy, you've been running so hard. I don't know if you have any other stories of triumph. You've given us a huge story with your whole organization triumphing. Any other unique pivots or happenings that you could share with us more on the encouragement side?
Yeah, we have a Philadelphia location that has always done super well, and he was able to do a project for a large company that had multiple locations across the U.S. And because he did such a great job, that company ended up hiring us from a corporate level, and we were able to disseminate the work out to our franchisees. So one relatively small job turned into like 10 to 12 jobs for the whole system. So that worked out really well. So,
Yes.
in short, that tells you right there, the performance of one franchisee can affect the entire system. And because he did such a great job, we were all able to make a nice profit off of the other locations.
Franchising stronger together. I mean,
Yeah.
boy, that wouldn't happen with an individual location. It
Yeah.
couldn't.
Yeah.
So, what about communications? And we can expand that topic to technology. Through this, are you communicating more? And how are you communicating with those franchisees out there?
We communicate with them quite frequently. Probably, maybe more than they want to, but we're constant communication with them on technology like Slack. We have bi-weekly calls, and then their franchise coach is always available to them 24/7 because we're a 24/7 business. So their coaches are available. We're always on the phone with them, troubleshooting things. If they need extra equipment because they got a huge job, we'll ship it here from corporate as opposed to them waiting for a vendor to restock or resupply. So again, that's another benefit of franchising because we can all share equipment and systems and processes and employees and you name it.
And when you mentioned the calls and the communication, the biweekly, is that I always get confused. Is that every other week or twice a week?
Yeah, it's every other week. I'm sorry.
Every other week.
Every
Awesome.
other week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
biweekly goes either way.
Yeah,
What?
you're right.
So let's hit the fran dev side of things. Nobody's in franchising without franchise development. Two parts of it. What has happened to the folks that were in process when this storm hit? Have they stopped? Have they paused? Have they moved forward? Have they been awarded? We'll talk about that first, and then we can address the new pipeline.
That's been an interesting phenomenon because we had several people that were in the SBA funding process. So they were already scheduled for training. They were already pre-approved, and then the SBA put the brakes on it and said, we're too inundated with the bailout. So they have stopped all of them, and they're giving them kind of dates of August to September at this point. So we have some people that of course are disappointed because their plans are just really been uprooted on this, but the people that are obviously private funding aren't affected at all. And I don't believe I don't think we have anybody right now in a rollover situation, but I don't think that would be affected either. It's mainly the people that are doing SBA.
Slowed down. Wow.
Yeah,
We
big time.
we hear so much about this SBA funds, and they're being more available than ever, and they've got more money than ever, and yet it's even slowed down folks that were in
Yeah,
process prior. Wow. That's
yeah.
not good news.
No, not at all.
Um, okay, so what about that new pipeline? I imagine we got a good answer
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So we're a bit unique when it comes to as a franchisor. We spend very little to nothing on development marketing. Or we get most of our leads from either IFPG, which is the only broker group that we participate in, or our social media or our website. So our leads have increased tenfold because I think people are seeing that this is going to be the new normal, and it's probably a little late to reinvent the wheel. So let's jump in with a brand that's been doing this for 15 years, and that's what we're hearing from these people. And we're getting a different type of franchisee calling us at this point. I mean, these people are business builders, many of them 2, 3, 4, 5 different businesses already in their lives, and they're seeing the way that the world is going, and they want to jump on it. They want to have that ride while it's going to, at the beginning, is like you said, this is going to be our new normal. We don't quite know what it is yet, but they're wanting to jump in on it.
Well, what you just said is so encouraging, and I've heard that time and time again during this time. Maybe the pipeline's down for most. Obviously, it's not down for you, but the folks that are coming in, risk tolerance is much lower on
Yeah,
average because,
absolutely.
I mean, they wouldn't even come in the process if they didn't have a lower risk tolerance.
Yeah.
Your folks, of course, more seasoned veterans, oftentimes multi-unit owners in franchising, ready to diversify into the hottest new trend.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
beautiful. Laura, any other advice, guidance, suggestions, predictions for franchisors out there?
Yeah, so I would say this is going to be our new normal, like you were saying. And what we're anticipating is that whether it's health departments or government entities, we're thinking that they're going to start implementing some type of disinfection requirements in public places or businesses that have, more than 50 people in them. And that might look like hiring a third-party company like us to kind of avoid a conflict of interest, or it might be, in-house requirements. We just don't know that yet, but this is definitely coming down. And for, manufacturing facilities or giant warehouses where they have several thousand employees in one place, this is crucial that businesses get on the bandwagon here, because it could really kill your business if an illness just spreads through like that.
Amen. Well, good advice, Laura. Laura Spaulding, founder, CEO, Spaulding Decon. Thank you for being on Franchising Stronger Together. Franchise leaders respond. We appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. See you on the road.